Settle down, kids. It's time for Pappy Pauper to read you another story deck. Before our march against the Red Gate, our spies brought much needed insight. We sharpened the spears and swords that are our craft, the instruments of war. Soldiers all, we replay critically timed beats, not unlike our hearts. Brothers in arms, say little. We let our actions magnify the truth. Assassins slip guards. Dare I say, they pierce darkness as easily flesh. New recruits swell our ranks because our fight is just. Slay the Dragon King. Hooded wizards chant behind our captain. Their power grows, as do we. We walk among you, long called pauper, cur, and dog. Suffer no more, my friend. Stripped of our homelands, we fight now with grit and shield against claw and crown. What say you? I can melt your locket into a wonderful spearhead. Thank you for indulging my haiku preview. Now, let us talk about some strategies. As we imagine this deck, consisting entirely of soldiers, marching against a red Dragon King, we acknowledge that red is our worst matchup. The sideboard slots of the Soltari Emissary, Veteran Swordsmith, and Whisper Squad easily are the most replaceable, with Duress, Veteran Armorsmith, and Circle of Protection red. Against control matchups, we keep Duress in place of Whisper Squad, take out one Swamp, and add a Bojuka Bog to slow down graveyard mechanics. Against Cycling Storm, we also use that additional Bojuka Bog as well as Ethereal Haze, which also helps us against green stompy decks. And Suffocating Fumes helps us against elves, who quickly overwhelm us. In all other matchups, we play hard and fast in a linear, aggressive approach. Let's discuss the merits of this deck now. So confident am I in this deck that it brought me out of almost a year-long hiatus from producing content. The addition to black for mono white soldiers gives us significant card advantage and filtration through our deck. We quickly flood the field with soldiers. We have several ways of gaining evasion through shadow and flying. We have numerous advantages when we attack, but we must be very judicious when we block. We want to have as many soldiers on our side of the board as possible for Foul-Tongue Shriek and Harsh Sustenance. We have a pretty even split of mana distribution. Our converted mana cost, CMC, is low, but our lands are somewhat higher than expected because we'll be sinking mana into our spells and other ways throughout the game. Let's see how well this deck performs in several matches. We start with a slow, albeit good, opening hand, with a third, preferably black, mana source. We quickly become the beatdown. And there it is. We lead off with a bit of incremental life gain, a great way to make sure we have both sources of black and white for our soldiers. It looks like we're playing against Brute Force, a deck recently showcased by Pauper. I'll link to Deluxecuff's video in the comments section below. And you can quickly see how we flood the board. Once we get Veteran Swordsmith on the board, our soldiers become a force to be reckoned with against another beatdown deck. Our Icatian Javelineers takes out a Ginger Brute. We can win by attrition and card advantage, and our opponent quickly realizes this too. In our second game, we lead off with a slow start, but I wanted to be able to maximize the use of Kor Skyfisher, so lead with an Icatian Javelineer with the option to be able to replay the use of the Javelin counter. What would you have done? It looks like we're playing against a Tron variant, so having a quick, aggressive approach seems to be the smart play. We begin applying quick pressure, attacking with lots of smaller creatures. Having Dauthi Slayer coming in should be helpful, as will Whisper Squad being able to filter through our deck, as well as having card draw to keep tempo. I fear that Dusk Legion Zealot will do more damage to us than what Tron will. Here we see one of the problems of this deck, the fog effects of neutralizing combat damage, and something that our deck is prepared to battle against is those blanking of the combat step. We do have 6 ways to work around that combat inevitability in Foul-Tongue Shriek and Harsh Sustenance. With the amount of card draw we have, we can get to that point. Even though our combat damage may be negated, Foul-Tongue Shriek will automatically count the number of attackers that we have on the field and deal damage with that life total swing. Still, we make Tron go through the dance step routine to make use of their moment's peace. Look at our board state. Even against Burn, it looks like we could come back from almost any kind of combat damage related attrition. Once we get a Whisper Squad, we can continually add more soldiers to the battlefield. Here again, card advantage helps us a lot. Dusk Legion Zealot and Thraben Inspector continually add more soldiers to the field, as well as Raise the Alarm gives us more. We want to make sure that Tron continues to use their Moment's Peace, but soon I had an epiphany. We have several evasive threats in the form of flying with Kor Skyfisher and shadow in Dauthi Slayer. I wondered if it's worth the timeliness in the steps to replay Moment's Peace to prevent a single 2 or 4 damage for Tron to prevent that. We will eventually overwhelm them or simply slowly chip away at their life total. Here at instant speed, I use the triggered ability of the Whisper Squad to pay for more mana, which is why we have so much mana. We constantly tap for mana. I rarely found the Gem Palm Avenger helpful and rather used Sultai Emissary in its place to commit a soldier again with Shadow, which we would commit with white mana to give it Shadow to the board. And here, Tron answers my earlier question and concedes. In our final video match, I want to encourage new players to consider the black-white soldier build I present today. It seems very forgiving of mistakes as we play against mono-black zombies or something like it. Here we see the Sultai Emissary coming into play and quickly leave play. I become quite worried that the 2-for-1 ability of -1/-1 counters or effects could really hurt our weaker soldiers. One deficiency is the lack of toughness on our soldiers. And I quickly feel that we could be overwhelmed by simple zombies. Dusk Legion Zealot helps us and starts getting our card advantage coming into play, but we seem to be outnumbered at this point. Thankfully, Kor Skyfisher helps us. Do not be afraid of taking damage, because that's one of the hallmarks of black in the color pie. To be able to sacrifice, to be able to gain more power, in this case, card advantage. We attack cleanly into an open board because we never anticipate blocking. There I made a mistake in blocking after I just said not to block. As I said, this deck seems to be very forgiving of mistakes. And now the haunting vision of Whisper Squad by Stepan Alexeyev really helps magnify what our Foul-Tongue Shriek can do. I imagine our opponent thinks this game will be over quickly, and they are right. I hope you enjoyed these video matches. What would you have done differently? Let me know in the comments below. More importantly, should this deck go into a Pauper league? Please share this in the Pauper subreddit and discuss its merits. Let me know your thoughts, as well as subscribe and like this video. Thank you, and until next time, be uncommonly magical.